To better understand alcohol use disorder, to reduce the stigma of seeking help, to understand that it's a treatable but often chronic condition to be treated. Joining us now is Dr. Alta Deroo, the Chief Medical Officer of Hazelden Betty Ford Clinic. Doctor, thank you for joining us on this April 1st.
My pleasure.
If I remember right, I mean, this is a awareness campaign that has its roots, say, in the 1980s, mid-1980s, I believe, which is really, if I recall right, kind of when the first research came to light that really shed more light on kind of the genetic component of addiction when it comes to alcohol, the brain functions here when it comes to alcohol. That's really was an important milestone realization, and it's come a long way since.
Yeah, so about 60% of alcohol use disorder can be attributed to genetics alone. The other part would be environmental. Like if you are never exposed to alcohol, you're not going to develop it. But if one or both of your parents had alcohol use disorder, then unfortunately you're susceptible to it as well. So genetics plays a large part of that. Another thing you may be referring to that came about in the 80s is the disease model of addiction, where it impacts your brain, like you were saying. So when a person starts to drink alcohol and rely on it in a daily way or through binge drinking, it changes the chemistry in their brain. And when they don't have alcohol, it can result in further depression, anxiety, and even a seizure if you were to stop abruptly.
So obviously this is a month, I mean, this is something that, you focus on year round, but this month then you give kind of the extra attention to sort of remind people of the very serious risks here, both mental but physical, with disease, whether it be liver or heart or even cancer causing, and the fact that people should be looking for warning signs, should be open to seeking help if they see those.
Yeah. So the warning signs for any physical type of ailment with alcohol use disorder would be if your gait is increasingly becoming unsteady. That means that you've been drinking alcohol for a very long time, and unfortunately it's starting to affect your cerebellum and the way that you walk. It impacts our liver, increases your chance for liver cancer or liver dysfunction. And then somebody can develop ascites or fluid in their abdomen, which has to be drained. So those would be the major physical markers. Also, there's an anemia that's associated with alcohol use disorder. So those would be the physical signs if somebody were to be using alcohol more and more for a very long period of time. So we often see them at our treatment facilities when they come in, when somebody has, quote, fallen to rock bottom, and they come in and physically they've just deteriorated from years of alcohol use. But you don't have to get to that point to seek treatment. It could be as simple as you wake up the next morning and you have to start your day with a drink. Otherwise, you can't get dressed, or you're trembling too much to even operate your phone or to write things. And so that would be one of the early signs that alcohol has started to affect you physically.
And you still, part of the hurdle here is sort of the stigma. Are people continuing to be afraid to get help, or their friends and family are maybe afraid to even suggest that?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because we must be doing a great job of getting the word out, because I have gotten multiple texts just in the past week of people who know that I work with Hazelden Betty Ford. And it often starts like, I have a family member, I have a loved one, I want to get them help, but I want to keep this really private. I don't want anybody to know about it. These are real words coming from real people out in our community, just right here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul community. And we offer a confidential test screening that you can do on our website at hazeldenbettyford.org. But the one thing that I always say to these families is that so many people have alcohol use disorder. It's 1 in 10 of the American population, and only 10% of those people do get help. So I know that you think that nobody else has this issue and you're the only one, but our treatment facilities are full of people just like you that are texting me and asking for this help. So this stigma that goes along with it, sometimes I think that it's ill-placed, and it's really falling by it's falling by the wayside of rarity. It's actually becoming more common that people are seeking help. So I would just urge those folks who originally are paralyzed by that stigma and maybe some shame to go to our website and try out that tool to do a screening test. It will give you, an idea of where you fall on your mild, moderate, or risk for your alcohol use, and then it also gives options for treatment in there.
All right. Yeah, and I saw that right on the front page of Hazelden Betty Ford website, kind of on the left side there. There's a button, a link to take that kind of a self-screening.
Yeah, great. I'm glad you visited it. Yeah, I did it this morning myself too, just to see what I came out as. So.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to know exactly what the folks that you're dealing with are going through, at least even on that end of things. So, well, thank you so much for taking some time today on this start of April, and again, the campaign for Alcohol Awareness Month and use disorder here, where people may realize it or they may not, and either not realize they need help or not feel comfortable asking for it. So thank you again for the time.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right.